morning dear students. I am here again for botany paper second, plant physiology. So in the previous lectures we already started our chapter 4, transpiration. So in this chapter we studied the definition of transpiration, or we can say that what is transpiration. So transpiration, it is the loss of water in vapor form from the aerial part of the plant, that we call it as the transpiration. So very huge amount of water has been lost in the process of transpiration through the aerial part of the plant in the form of vapors. Now next point is the types of transpiration. So there are three types of transpiration: cuticular, lenticular and stomatal transpiration. When the transpiration takes place through the cuticle, that type of transpiration we call it as cuticular transpiration. So in case of those plants where the cuticle is thin or there are some cracks in the cuticle, a loss of water takes place through the cuticle. So such type of transpiration has been called as cuticular transpiration. Next to this is the lenticular transpiration, when transpiration or a loss of water takes place through the lenticels. That type of transpiration is called as lenticular transpiration. So in case of woody plants, after secondary growth, the epidermis is replaced by the periderm, and whose outer layer consists of loosely arranged cells. So the lenticels are the slits in these companion cells. Through this, loss of water has been takes place. So such type of transpiration is called as the lenticular transpiration. And the third one is the stomatal transpiration. So stomata, singular stoma, these are the minute openings or the pores present on the surface of the leaves. So stomata is the main transpiring organ where about 95% of the total water loss has been takes place through the stomatal transpiration. So when transpiration takes place through the stomata, that type of transpiration is called as stomatal transpiration. Next, so this is the structure of stomata. So this detailed structure we studied in the previous lecture. So stomata are the minute pores or the openings that has been present on the surface of the leaves. In case of monocots, they are equally distributed on upper and lower surface of the leaf, while in case of aquatic plants they are present only on the upper surface. So stomata consists of an elliptical or crescent shaped pore called as the stomatal aperture. It is surrounded by two guard cells. In case of dicot, the shape of the guard cell is kidney shape. In monocot, guard cells are dumbbell shape. Guard cell consists of a prominent nucleus, starch containing chloroplast, lining layer of the cytoplasm, central a large central vacuole. Surrounded by these guard cells are the epidermal cells or the subsidiary cells. So this is about the structure of stomata. If you see the wall of the guard cell consists of inner wall and the outer wall. The inner wall of the guard cell is thick and non-elastic, cannot be stretched, while the outer wall is thin and elastic, so it can be stretched. So this is the structure of the stomata. Next, so this is the mechanism of opening and closing of stomata. So to explain how the stomata get open and close, so that can be explained with the help of mechanism of opening and closing of stomata. So as you know that the leaves are the main transpiring organ of the plant, while the stomata is the main pathway during the process of transpiration. So for this we are going to study how the stomata get open and close with the help of a mechanism. So the opening of the stomata takes place when the starch in the guard cell has been converted into the sugar, for example glucose. Glucose is osmotically active, being soluble in water, so it increases the osmotic pressure, due to which endoosmosis takes place in the guard cell. So water enters from surrounding mesophyll cells or subsidiary cell into the guard cell, due to which the turgidity increases, the guard cell become turgid and stomata get open. So when starch has been converted into the glucose, stomata get open during daytime. The closing of stomata takes place when the glucose is converted into the starch during night time. Starch is insoluble in water, it is osmotically inactive. So, due to which osmotic pressure of the cell sap in the guard cell has been decreased, as a result of which the water exit out into the surrounding mesophyll cells or subsidiary cells. So, due to which the stomata get closed. So, this is the mechanism of opening and closing of stomata. Next, so this is the Stewart's hypothesis. So, Stewart proposed the hypothesis to explain the mechanism of opening and the closing of stomata. So, Stewart in 1964 proposed the hypothesis to explain the mechanism of opening and closing of stomata. According to him, the conversion of starch and inorganic phosphate into glucose 1-phosphate does not cause any change in the osmotic pressure of the guard cell. So, what should happen for the opening of the stomata? Because according to him, the conversion of starch and inorganic phosphate into glucose 1-phosphate does not cause any change in the osmotic pressure of the guard cell. So, to make a change in the osmotic pressure of the guard cell, something happen for change in the osmotic pressure of cell sap in guard cell, because the inorganic phosphate and glucose 1-phosphate are equally active osmotically, because of which there is no change in the osmotic pressure of the guard cell when starch and inorganic phosphate has been converted into glucose 1-phosphate. So, glucose 1-phosphate should be further converted into something due to which there is a change in the osmotic pressure of the guard cell. Furthermore, according to him, glucose 1-phosphate should be further converted into glucose and inorganic phosphate for opening of stomata during daytime. As you know that when the glucose 1-phosphate has been converted into the glucose is osmotically active, being soluble in water, it increases the osmotic pressure of the guard cell, due to which endoosmosis takes place in the guard cell become turgid, and then stomata get open during daytime. Metabolic energy in the form of ATP will be required for the closing of stomata, and this energy comes from the process of respiration. So, for the closing of stomata, metabolic energy in the form of ATP has been required, and these ATPs are provided by the process of respiration. So, these are the 2 points are important for Stewart's hypothesis. So, according to the Stewart in 1964, the glucose 1-phosphate should be further converted into glucose and inorganic phosphate for the opening of stomata during daytime. And for the closing of stomata, metabolic energy in the form of ATP will be required, and these ATPs has been provided through the process of respiration. So, these 2 statements are important for explaining the Stewart's hypothesis. So, this hypothesis has been made with the fact that the conversion of starch and inorganic phosphate into glucose 1-phosphate does not cause any change in the osmotic pressure of the guard cell. So, further conversion has been made in such a way that is a compound form that can make a change in the osmotic pressure of the guard cell. So, for this, glucose 1-phosphate should be further converted into the glucose and inorganic phosphate for opening of stomata during daytime. So, what happened for the opening of stomata at high pH, generally at pH 7, that is the neutral pH. At high pH, the opening of the stomata will take place in the following manner. So, in presence of light during daytime, there is high rate of photosynthesis in the mesophyll cell. So, due to this, there is a release of CO2 into the intercellular spaces. CO2 from intercellular spaces enters into the guard cell. As you know that the guard cell contain the starch, or guard cell having starch containing chloroplast. So, starch that is already present in the guard cell. So, starch plus inorganic phosphate that gives rise to glucose 1-phosphate. So, this reaction has been catalyzed by the enzyme phosphorylase. Starch is already present in the guard cell. If you see the structure of the stomata As you know that the stomata are the minute pores or the opening which are present on the epidermis of the leaf. Each stoma consists of an elliptical or a crescent shaped pore surrounded by two specialized cells called as guard cell. Now we are interested in the guard cell. Each guard cell is kidney shape as in dicot or dumbbell shape is in monocots. Each guard cell contains a nucleus, starch containing chloroplast and lining layer of cytoplasm and a central vacuole filled with a cell sap. They contain large amount of protoplasm than their neighboring epidermal cell. So if you see the structure of the stomata, guard cell contains starch containing chloroplast, means starch is already present in the guard cell. Now the next things that are important for the opening of the stomata are the inner wall of the guard cell is thicker and non-elastic, while outer wall is thin and elastic, so it can be stretched. So due to this the stomata get open. When the guard cell become turgid, its outer wall is thin and elastic, it gets stretched, while the inner wall is thicker and non-elastic, it becomes concave, and due to which stomata get open. So this can be helpful for understanding the Stewart's hypothesis. So when CO2 from intercellular spaces has been reaches to the guard cell, the starch that is already present in the guard cell, so starch and inorganic phosphate that gives rise to the glucose 1-phosphate. This reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme phosphorylase. So according to the Stewart hypothesis, the conversion of starch and inorganic phosphate into the glucose 1-phosphate does not cause any change in the osmotic pressure of the guard cell, because glucose 1-phosphate and inorganic phosphate are equally active osmotically. So it does not cause any change in the osmotic pressure of the guard cell. So for this, the glucose 1-phosphate should be further converted into the glucose. So in a series of reaction, the glucose 1-phosphate has been converted into glucose 6-phosphate in the presence of an enzyme phosphoglucomutase. And further, the glucose 6-phosphate is converted into the glucose and inorganic phosphate in the presence of enzyme phosphatase. So according to the Stewart's, the starch has been converted into the glucose. As the glucose has been formed in a series of reaction, for example, starch plus inorganic phosphate that gives rise to glucose 1-phosphate, the enzyme is phosphorylase. Glucose 1-phosphate to the glucose 6-phosphate, the enzyme is phosphoglucomutase. Glucose 6-phosphate to glucose and inorganic phosphate, the enzyme is phosphatase. So as a result of conversion of starch into the glucose, that glucose has been formed in the guard cell. As you know that the glucose is osmotically active, it gets dissolved in the water, it increases the osmotic pressure of cell sap of guard cell, due to which guard cell draws water from the surrounding subsidiary cells, due to which endoosmosis takes place in the guard cell. As the water enters into the guard cells become turgid. The outer wall of the guard cell is thin and elastic, it get stretched, while the inner wall is thick and non-elastic, it becomes concave. So as a result of this, stomata open during daytime. So this is the opening of stomata according to the Stewart's hypothesis. So starch has been converted into the glucose. Glucose is osmotically active, it increases the osmotic pressure of cell sap of guard cell, endoosmosis takes place in the guard cells become turgid and stomata open during daytime. Now we are going for the closing of stomata. The closing of stomata will be brought about by conversion of glucose into glucose 1-phosphate with the help of ATP in the presence of enzyme hexokinase and oxygen, and then to starch in the guard cell. So during night time, this is the first reaction in the aerobic respiration. The reaction is the phosphorylation reaction, where glucose has been converted into glucose 1-phosphate by utilizing ATP in the presence of oxygen, and the glucose 1-phosphate further converts into the starch. As the starch has been formed in the guard cell, starch is insoluble in water. It is osmotically inactive, due to which the osmotic pressure of the guard cell has been decreased. So, water exit out from guard cell into the surrounding epidermal cell or subsidiary cell, due to which the guard cell become flaccid and the stomata get closed during night time. So, the closing of stomata has been brought about by the conversion of glucose that has been formed during daytime in the guard cell into the glucose 1-phosphate with the help of ATP by utilizing ATP in the presence of enzyme hexokinase and oxygen, and then to starch in the guard cell. So, the ATP has been converted into the ADP. So, glucose plus ATP, that gives rise to glucose 1-phosphate. The phosphate has been attached to the first carbon position of the glucose in the presence of an enzyme hexokinase. The reaction is a phosphorylation reaction. This reaction takes place in the presence of oxygen. Further, the glucose 1-phosphate has been converted into the starch and inorganic phosphate in the presence of an enzyme phosphorylase. As soon as the starch has been formed in the guard cell during night time, starch is osmotically active. It decreases the osmotic pressure of the guard cell. Again, exoosmosis takes place. So, guard cell become flaccid and stomata close during night time. So, this Stewart hypothesis, the various reaction that takes place for the opening and the closing of stomata has been summarized here. The starch and inorganic phosphate, that gives rise to glucose 1-phosphate. There is a addition of a phosphate group to the first carbon position of the glucose in the presence of an enzyme phosphorylase at pH 7. The glucose 1-phosphate further converts into the glucose 6-phosphate. This reaction is a isomerization reaction, takes place in the presence of an enzyme phosphoglucomutase. Glucose 6-phosphate further converts into the glucose with the removal of inorganic phosphate. The enzyme used is the phosphatase. The reaction has been catalyzed by the enzyme phosphatase. The glucose has been formed. It is osmotically active. It increases the osmotic pressure of the guard cell. Guard cell become turgid because the endosmosis takes place in the guard cell. As a result of this, stomata get open. Now, for the closing of stomata, energy in the form of ATP has been required, and that has been provided by the process of respiration. So, the glucose is converted into the glucose 1-phosphate in the presence of an enzyme hexokinase, during which one ATP has been utilized. So, ATP is converted into the ADP. The glucose 1-phosphate further converts into the starch and inorganic phosphate in the presence of an enzyme phosphorylase at pH 5. So, starch is osmotically inactive. It decreases the osmotic pressure. So, exoosmosis takes place in the guard cell. Guard cell become flaccid. As a result of this, stomata get closed. So, this is the mechanism for the opening and closing of stomata proposed by the Stewart. So, this is called as the Stewart's hypothesis. So, according to the Stewart's hypothesis, the conversion of starch and inorganic phosphate into the glucose 1-phosphate does not cause any change in the osmotic pressure of the guard cell. That glucose 1-phosphate form should be further converted into the glucose and inorganic phosphate for the opening of stomata during daytime. And the further things, glucose is osmotically active. It increases the osmotic pressure of the guard cell. Endosmosis takes place in the guard cell, due to which it becomes turgid. The stomata get open. And for the closing of stomata, metabolic energy in the form of ATP will be required for the closing of stomata. This energy has been comes from the process of respiration. So, this is about the Stewart's hypothesis. Thank you.